देवाणं पिये आणपयति देवाणं पिये आणपयति अधिकानि अढातियानि वसानि यः कंसके देवाणं पिये आणपयति अधिकानि अढातियानि वसानि यः कंसके नोतुखो बाढौ पक्कन्ते हुसौ एकौ संवत्सरौ सातिरेके तुखो संवत्सरे नोतुखो बाढौ पक्कन्ते हुसौ एकौ संवत्सरौ सातिरेके तुखो संवत्सरे यो मया संघे उपयीते बाढौ च मे पक्कन्ते यो मया संघे उपयीते बाढौ च मे पक्कन्ते इमिनाचुकालेन आमिसा समाना मुनिसा इमिनाचुकालेन आमिसा समाना मुनिसा इमिनाचुकालेन आमिसा समाना मुनिसा मिसा देवेहि जम्बूदीपसि मिसा देवेहि पक्कमसहि इयं फले पक्कमसहि इयं फले अतिकन्तम् अन्तलं बहूनि वससतानि अतिकन्तम् अन्तलं बहूनि वससतानि वढितो एव हिंसा च अतिकन्तम् अन्तलं बहूनि वससतानि वढितो एव बाणालम्भो विहिंसा च भूतानां ज्ञातिषु असम्पटिपति भूतानां ज्ञातिषु असम्पटिपति ब्रह्मणश्रमणानाम् असम्पटिपति भूतानां ज्ञातिषु असम्पटिपति ब्रह्मणश्रमणानाम् असम्पटिपति तजादेवाणौ पियदसिने लाजिने धौव चलने तजादेवाणौ पियदसिने लाजिने धौव चलने भेरी घोषो भेरी घोषो मग मरी गरी सनी सरी गरी मगनी दप म प म प मग मरी गरी सनी सरी गरी मगनी दप म प म मदनी सद पदनी दप 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 प म प म ग ग मरी गरी स
यादिसा बहुहि वस्ससतेहि नाहुत पुलुवे यादिसा बहुहि वस्ससतेहि नाहुत पुलुवे तादिसे अजाभडिते देवाणं पियस पियदसिने लाजिने धम्मनुसतिये तादिसे अजाभडिते देवाणं पियस पियदसिने लाजिने धम्मनुसतिये अनालंभे पाणानम् अविहिंसा भूतानं नातिसु संपटिपति अनालंभे पाणानम् अविहिंसा भूतानं नातिसु संपटिपति बंभणः समनानं संपटिपति अनालंभे पाणानम् अविहिंसा भूतानं नातिसु संपटिपति बंभणः समनानं संपटिपति माता पितिसु सुसुसा माता पितिसु सुसुसा माता पितिसु सुसुसा
मग मरी गरी सनी सरी गरी मगनी दप म प म प म ध म गरी नि द नि रि ग गनी ग प म गरी सरी ग म प म द म गरी नि द नि रि ग गनी ग प म गरी सरी ग म देवाणं पियो देवाणं पियो प्रियदृशी रयो एवमः देवाणं पियो प्रियदृशी रयो एवमः अतिकन्तम् अन्तलं न भूतपूर्वं सौवं कलम् अतिकन्तम् अन्तलं न भूतपूर्वं सौवं कलम् अठक्रमं पटिवेदनवतौ मया एवं गीतम् तौ मया एवं गीतम् सौवं कलम्
सौवं कलम्
अशमनसमे
अशमनसमे
ओरोधनसि
ओरोधनसि
ग्रभगरसि
ग्रभगरसि
व्रचसि
व्रचसि
विनीतसि
विनीतसि
उय्यनसि
उय्यनसि
सौवत्तपटिवेदकाठं जनस पटिवेदेतु मे सौवत्त च जनस्य अठकरोमि सौवत्त च जनस्य अठकरोमि सौवत्त च अठं जनस्य करोमि अहं सौवत्त च अठं जनस्य करोमि अहम् केन सुजने अनुलोपायाधो वढिया वढेयाति केन सुजने अनुलोपायाधो वढिया वढेयाति केन सुकानि अभ्युन्नामयहो सुकानि अभ्युन्नामयेहो धौवढियाति एतं देवाणो पियदसि लाजाहेवो आहा एतं देवाणो पियदसि लाजाहेवो आहा हे समय हुता हे समय हुता हे समय हुता धौम सावनानि सावापयामि धम्मानुसतिनि अनुशासामि धौम सावनानि सावापयामि धम्मानुसतिनि अनुशासामि हेतौ जने सूतु अनुपटीपजीसति अभ्युन्नमिसति एतौ जने सूतु अनुपटीपजीसति अभ्युन्नमिसति एतौ जने धौम वढिय च बढ़ं वढिसति बढ़ं वढिसति बढ़ं वढिसति अठवश अभिसिदस देवन प्रियस प्रियदसिस रय्यो कलिंग विजित अठवश अभिसिदस देवन प्रियस प्रियदसिस रय्यो कलिंग विजित अधिगढमाते प्रणसत सहस्रे एतदोऽपौढे अधिगढमाते प्रणसत सहस्रे एतदोऽपौढे शतसहस्रमिते तत्र हते बहुतमौतकेव मते शतसहस्रमिते तत्र हते बहुतमौतकेव मते ततोपाच अधुना लधेषु कलिंगेषु तीव्रे धर्मशीलन कामत धर्मानुषस्ति च ततोपच अधुना लधेषु कलिंगेषु विजिनीतिचा कालिगानी निसा निदा पमा पमा गरी निसा निदा पमा पमा गरी सरी मा पानी दा विजितं हि विजेना मनायो तत्तवधवा मरणो वा अपवहो वा जनस अविजितो हि विजेना मनायो तत्तवधवा मरणो वा अपवहो वा जनस तं बढं वेदनिगमतो तं बढं वेदनियमतो गुरुमतो च देवानो पिगस गुरुमतो च देवानो पिगस योऽपि च अपकरयति शमितविगमते देवानो पिगस योऽपि च अपकरयति शमितविगमते देवानो प्रियस यं शको क्षमनये यपि च अटवी देवाणो प्रियस विजितबोति तपि अनुनेति यं शको क्षमनये यपि च अटवी देवाणो प्रियस विजितबोति तपि अनुनेति अनुनिजपेति अनुतपेति च प्रभवे अनुनिजपेति अनुतपेति च प्रभवे देवाणो प्रियस देवाणो प्रियस देवाणो प्रियस
I don't know where to begin this, but just to satisfy my curiosity,
Okay.
what drew you to Ashok? What is it about the words that he set in stone that inspired you to actually set them to music? I think for the first time ever?
It's always risky saying that, but probably the first time ever. You know, like I guess many people in this country, our association with Ashok has been probably few paragraphs in a history textbook, and of course Kalinga, beyond which I don't think we really had a relationship, if that's the word, you know, with Ashoka or the idea of Ashoka. what was this? What's the idea? And honestly, since we're talking about memory, I guess I had forgotten Ashoka. So start from that, I had forgotten. But I think in a democratic world, we are asking this question of ourselves: what does it mean? What does governance mean? What does it mean to be participating in a conversation about people, about empathy, care, ultimately all living together? We're all living together, very different people with our own baggage, with our own difficulties and environments. But what does it mean to live together? What does it mean for a government or for a governor, so to speak, to rule? What is the sensibility? I think these were something I was thinking about. And honestly, it was Gopal Gandhi who suddenly one day called me and he said, just read the edicts again. Just a conversation. And that's when I went back to the translations of the edicts. And to me it was, of course it's a different world. He occupied a different space, different mind frame. But it was almost like as if I wouldn't say he was speaking to me, but I'd rather say I could hear myself having those conversations and those conflicts at some level. To me, I felt it was relevant for us to think in that manner, bridge philosophical thought or ideation to reality, and that in many ways Ashoka does. So I think that's what drew me initially to him. But since I started by saying that I'd forgotten Ashoka, honestly, what did Ashoka remember? What did he choose not to remember? Because I think we all, in a way, either consciously or subconsciously, play this game of memory. It's almost like a game, because memories also come back sometimes. So what did he choose to remember when he spoke about himself or his past? And what did he decide to leave out?
So you're quite right that in the Ashokan edicts, in his words, there is only partial recall. And if I was to begin with what he chooses not to remember, so whatever happened in his life prior to him becoming an emperor doesn't quite figure. You would think that he has such illustrious predecessors.
Exactly.
His father Bindusar, and then, the founder of the Maurya dynasty, Chandragupta. They don't figure in his edicts. The circumstances which brought him to the throne, and I think he snatched the throne, he wasn't the eldest son of Bindusar, that too doesn't figure. What Ashoka remembers is actually, it's a kind of standard trope in his words, where he draws on the past in order to make his own, engagement with the present burnish and look glorious as compared to what has happened previously. So when he first speaks out in the Minor Rock Edict, he says that whereas earlier, so when he talks of the past, the gods and people were not intermingling.
Yeah.
Now, because of his zeal, there was an intermingling. He also talks about the immediate past. He chooses to remember that 2.5 years before that, he had become a Buddhist. But he was not very zealous. And it was only a year or so ago, before he puts this in words, that he had become zealous. And now, the fruit of his zeal was there for all
Everybody
to
see.
So the past state of his kingdom and the past state of his mind both figure in his words in order to make his own reign seem to be a kind of watershed. That's what and he does that constantly, not just in his first words. If you look at his major rock edicts, which some of which you have, rendered so beautifully in your voice, he's actually talking about previous kings, involved in pleasure tours, vihara yatras, and he is involved in also traveling, but they are dhamma yatras. He talks about bheri, so the sounds of drums associated with war previously, and how that has now turned into the music of Dhamma.
I'm just going to interrupt you. Isn't this also kind of a break from the past, in a sense? Usually we always see kings using their lineage. And it's also maybe cultural in some manner, that you always go back to some illustrious past to in a way justify your present in some manner. And here is a person who's actually breaking from the past, and he's doing it very consciously. Isn't that also a kind of a shift in some manner? Is it?
So I would look at it like this, that he probably does not want to speak about the past because he was not meant to rule. That may be one reason. But you're quite right that because he is putting himself out there as this self-made emperor who is
Yeah.
doing something different, he appears in an entirely different way from any king before this. I mean, after all, if you think about kingship in India, it has a long lineage before Ashoka. But why is it that Emperor Ashoka is the only one who is visible to us till this time?
Correct.
I think that's because he worked out an extraordinary democratic innovation, which was to actually reach out to his people via his administrators in the public domain.
Very
That's,
interesting.
you know, that's something
Unusual, a bridge. It's really literally built a bridge,
It's
yeah.
entirely, and that's what I find so attractive about him. So, you know, unlike you, Ashok, because I was a history student, he's
Yes.
always been there, you know, in what I have studied and then also in what I've taught. But when I started seriously engaging with him academically, I just found this extraordinarily cerebral man. And you know, to be in the company of somebody cerebral in antiquity, and that too a ruler,
That's right.
you know, was just so attractive and so seductive. So I just wanted to keep prolonging my engagement with him. So first it was his words, then I went out to search the places where his words were put out. And then after a year or so, I think I was missing him. So I decided to kind of track down his remembrance. Has Ashok uplifted you as a musician? I mean, the whole process of singing his words? Or you've done this with others? Have you sung prose before?
I have not sung prose like this before. No, he has. And I think the upliftment is in many ways. I think that I almost feel an emotional connection with this person. I can't explain it. I don't know why. But there's something about his words that just feel so close. And singing it has made it far closer. Because as a musician, when you sing something, you have to basically be it. Otherwise, you can't sing it. So maybe it's personal, maybe I'm tapping into some nostalgia, possibly. I mean, I'm remembering something, probably. But you never know, right? You never know. But that it is personal, if you ask me. It is personal. I almost feel like this is an individual that I'm having a chat with, that I'm actually talking to in a musical way.
Ya Sheikh Sanna, 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 Ya Sheikh Sanna. 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 Ya Sheikh. Ya Sheikh Sanna.
Obur Pana, Ya Sheikh Sanna, Obur Pana, Ya Sheikh Sanna, Obur Pana,
Ya Sheikh Sanna.
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 Obur Pana.
ये क्या है जिगो
Kaidan Kuluf,
ज़हनन तुई
Tagtuk Dabdab,
हाय खुदा चोइनिस नावस
Wai Khodai, Chai Baragai,
कोत गई तिम सन
Kod Gaitim Son Toast,
यम अस सत फेकिस सत फ्योक रलैत अस सत सत आसान
Wai Khodai Kartu Panun Raham,
पक
Mango Panus Khodayas,
सठा सठा
Amun to Raham,
पक
Abur Pana,
या शेख सन्ना
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 Abur Pana,
या शेख सन्ना 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 या शेख सन्ना
देवम प्रिया राजन फरमो डाई वरी पेठी ये पनो शाक्या नन पट पूर पट पनो शाक्या तमे ब्रो ओसस बह शिठ वारिया वरी ब्रो ये संगस मन सास तमे सीट आई मेमंस पास आस जम्बू दीपस यम ति देवता तिम आम लुकन मा मेलान मगर तिमन करनो में मिलचार अवामस सत तो म्यूल मेति तमेकुय फल पछ हुंद तो यकीनुक म्यूलुम फल
Ayo ak, ayo ze, ayo tor. Kunyo, ayo ak, ayo ze, junumai. Wah wah, mago. Taka jup. Ta, ta. Junum ke, jahoro da.
आय मे ये शहर बसोमुत मगर यस कस नजर लज
Akıkis ratas zagan, boy boyis katıl karan.
यम संसारुक यह शहर मर मुंद मगर आज
Yor roydar men nakab dila zagan.
ऐ मेन शहर ज़ बोज मेन फरियाद ज़ु गमन मंज वलन आमुत मुसीबत किस यथ आवनस मंज हेन आमुत बह संदारत बे मगर यह वक्त अया बहुस युक राज
Buray pati, katsay do vati. Nachos ba chon golam, te nachos te myon raz. Tem dod gar dod kayet. वहीं बदली सु जमाना है
आया ऊंट आशी बनियो मु तकलीन शाइन जदानी ते
छुकुस आ कत गसे क्या
पुछुस बो ओसुस बई आस
पानस राजा वनन वाले यो छुक वनन ये ना चली न वहीं के अगर हा शोर कोरुत हटिस तल बड़वाई श्राक ना शक ओमुत ना बस जोमुत खेल खत्म
आया बेवकूफ क्या छुक वनन
इनकलाब आजादी आया बच बच या शेख सना ऊपर फना 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 या शेख सना या शेख सना ऊपर फना
दाई सुन टोट राज प्रेम दर्शनन फरमो मे ब्रोह जगतस मज ओस न खलकस राजस पानवन कह कथा बाथा आसा न ओस कह जरिए फरियाद करनुक तमे किन दुत में आदेश कि बह बोज अवामक मसल पान कुन विज तो कुन जाय ये बह आस तती आराम गाहस मज सफरस मज बागस मज या रनिवासस मज ये बह आस तोत गि वातन में अवामच खबर लुक हंद मसल बूजित आस बह तिम प्रथ विज प्रथ सात अंजरावान
शाबाश 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 चल 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 चल
8 वरी तेल गमत ये देवम प्रिया बनो राज तमी विज कोर तम कलिंग फतह तो मुल्कस मज गई लुक लछा जलाए वतन तो लुक लछ आव कर कत्ल अमे खुद सठा ज्यादा मूत बेगुना ये कत्लाम पत देवम प्रियाम कोर कलिंगस मज सठा नरमी सत अमन वत पे लोल सान न्याय हेचनावुक पहल कलंग के रतस मज लिथनवित जंग जीनित देवम प्रिया रूह वो सठा परेशान तो गलानी बरित मगर सोचान हरगाह कह गलती कर वन क्षमा गज कर तमिस यमि क्षमा हेको करित हरगाह दूर जंगलन मज आसन रोजान बगावती ताकतवर ٲسِس ति तिहुंद दिल बदलाव तो पापन हुंद प्राश्चित करना मगर मोहब्बत सत कत्ल सत हरगिज न